Hello everybody, it's been a very long time. I wasn't here. I had gone for my A320 type rating and just got back a couple of weeks ago. And recently it's been raining opportunities, and I get a lot of questions as to how to prepare for exams, what to study and all that. So I thought, might as well put it up for everyone. So here goes: FAQs, frequently asked questions. Normally after you have applied for an exam, the first stage is the written exam. So first of all, I'd be covering normal airlines like Indigo, there's Jet Airways, Blue Dart, etc. This is a general thing that applies for all airlines. So the first one, the written test. First thing I have to tell all of you out there is, throughout your CPL syllabus, you need to upgrade yourself to an ATPL, because you've done your CPL, right? What they are looking for is a future commander. So download the DGCA ATPL syllabus. Make sure you study it thoroughly. Books recommended, I would personally suggest Jepson J ATPL textbooks or Oxford. These are the best ones according to me, and it has worked every single time for me. Also, as extra reading material, I would suggest Mike Burton for things like piston engines or propellers and so on and so forth. They're very good books, explanatory, sorry. And Rolls-Royce is also very good for jet engines. A lot of people, the first question they ask me is, which question bank should I study? I will never recommend anybody to study a question bank for any airline exam or any DGC exam, or for any exam for that matter. Read the textbook, study the textbook, study the concepts, be thorough with what you're studying. The idea should be crystal clear in your mind. Question banks should be just used as a help or as an add-on, I would say. And my personal favorite question bank is Keith Williams. I have used it not as much as a question bank, but the explanations given at the back, those are very good. So they are very good to clear your concepts. Now when it comes to the exam, so to speak, most of the written exams are multiple choice questions, and it is based OMR based, most of them. Some of them are just cross out or tick the right answer, whatever. So first things first, I would suggest is, make sure you read all the instructions very carefully. Do not, I repeat, do not assume that you know the instruction, or just take it for granted that, okay, this is what I have to do. So just read the instructions carefully. Now, if there is negative marking, my personal suggestion is, do not mark the answers unless you are 100% confident of the answer. Because why I say this is, it has worked for me so far. I have done my engineering, I have given my engineering entrance exams, I've given a lot of exams, and every single time it has worked for me. And every single time I mark the answers which even I am, say, 95% confident of, they mostly go wrong. So this is a personal suggestion: do not mark the answers unless you are 100% confident, because one correct answer may give you 1 mark, but one wrong answer is actually giving you minus 1.25 marks or percentage of marks, if you get my point, right? Okay, and if there is no negative marking, please do go ahead and mark all the answers, irrespective if you know it or you don't know it. What I normally do is, I make a scan of the paper first, as in I go question by question. I don't read all the questions in one shot. question by question I go. If I do not know the answer to a question on the first reading itself, I just mark that question and move ahead to the next question, because I don't want to waste time unnecessarily, right? And so by the end of my first run through the question paper, I have marked my 100% confident answers, and I know which questions are left for me to answer. So I don't have to scan through the question paper and see have I marked this or not. It will be clearly marked on the question paper in my case. So then my second round, I try to solve those questions, and then in the end, if I'm sure I don't know these ones, some of them, blind mark it, whatever it is. It's all your choice. Then recently most airlines have started asking for aptitude, started asking aptitude questions also. How to study, I would just say it's basically common sense. Aptitude questions are all basically common sense, no big formula, and yes, maybe slight little ones, permutation, combination. If you're good at maths, obviously you will have an added advantage. Otherwise also, I don't consider it as a big hurdle, but then you can use books used for CAT, slightly on the higher end, common admission test CAT exams, or you can use books for SSC exams, right? Staff Selection Commission exams, right? Or other competitive exams. And online also you will find umpteen number of questions, so I would suggest you can practice on those too. Second stage can either be the interview straight or the group discussion or a simulator, whatever, but for today I'm just considering the second stage to be the simulator test. So simulator test actually varies quite a bit for every airline, and some of them they use a typical simulator of a Boeing 737. Let's say for example Jet Airways uses a 737 fixed base simulator. Some others like Indigo, they have the CAS exam. Blue Dart has no simulator, so etc, it depends. But then here I'll just give you a general overview. So suppose you're preparing for Jet Airways, I would suggest go ahead and try to practice on a 737 simulator if available. Do your basic instrument flying and learn how to use the autopilot. If those of you who are not familiar with the glass cockpit, please get yourself familiarized with it. What else? Yes, one very important thing I want you to remember is that you're not flying a Cessna or a Diamond or whatever. This is a jet engine aircraft, so this aircraft will be much faster. Your anticipation has to be much faster, and remember your turns, you will turn out early, right? So everything has to be planned ahead, and it's a little bit different. That speed makes a little bit of difference in your whole instrument flying. So that's why I suggest go ahead and fly it in the simulator if possible. It will help you a lot. I would suggest study your radial interceptions. Let's just go through the specifics for Jet Airways. I would suggest study your radial interceptions, your holes, your chart briefing, very important. I have another video on how to brief an approach plate. You can go ahead and check that out. Do your ILS approaches, do your non-precision approaches, and don't worry if you make any mistakes, but accept it and correct it. And one very important thing is never argue with your examiner. And when I say never argue, it doesn't mean that do not explain yourself. Explaining and arguing are two different things. Then if we go ahead and check out the Indigo selection process, where there's a CAS, they'll be sending you a booklet ahead. Please go ahead and familiarize yourself with it, read it about 5 to 6 times or more. The more the merrier. And a lot of aptitude questions also involved in that. You can go ahead and search the internet. A lot of questions available online. And yes, one of our fellow aviators, he has designed a software called the Pilot Aptitude Trainer, PAT software, if I'm correct. You can go ahead and use that also. Then the lock-on game, if you can find that game and practice on that, also very useful for the CAS. And for my CAS, I had made an exclusive video. You can go ahead and check that out. Right. The next one is the group discussion. Group discussion is a place where a lot of people have a fear of the unknown, I would call it. But actually it's not a big deal. Actually it should be the easiest part, because mostly you don't have to study anything, which makes it a lot easier. I'll just give you a few tips and tricks as to how to prepare or how to go through the GD. First of all, it's good if you can start the GD, but even if you don't start, it's not a big deal. You can, if you are able to speak at least 2 or 3 times with at least 1 or 2 valid points, that itself is good enough. The trick here is to listen and make your points accordingly. See, even if you do not know about the topic, listening to a few people initially, you will be able to understand what it is all about and frame your own points and put it across. So this is very important. It happened to me. It happened to one of my GDs. I wasn't even aware what a particular word in the topic meant. So I just listened for the first 5 to 10 minutes, and by then I understood what it meant. So I made my own points, and then the GD went on, and it went well, right? So listening is a very important part of the GD, and a lot of people have a problem that everybody is talking, and you are not getting a chance to speak. Nobody is going to give you a gap to speak. You are never going to get that once the GD starts, because everybody is just dying to put across their points. So sometimes you can use like all of a sudden, but you have to wait for that timing. Just when a person is speaking and he's put across his point and he's just concluding the point, that don't wait for the full stop. That point just before the full stop, that's where you should throw in your point. You can start with "excuse me," that will grasp somebody's attention, and just pause, and then you can put in your point. But I wouldn't suggest it. That's only good if you're not able to put in your points. Yes, if you have a very low volume, your voice has a very low volume, it will not help. You have to be assertive, but that doesn't mean you have to shout or speak up very loudly, or you have to be bossy. No, that's not what it means. Assertive is a total different idea in itself. So you have to be loud and clear. Make sure that even if you are sitting on one corner, the person at the other corner also hears you. So, and yes, nobody likes a fish market. Please do not make it a fish market. And one thing very important you have to remember is that this is not an argument or a conversation or a debate or a broadcast. No, it is not between one person or two persons. There are a lot of people involved. It's a discussion. So it's a discussion. How you have to play your own part, and you have to let others play their part, right? So do not monopolize the conversation. It's very, very important. And another thing is, if they've given you a piece of paper, please note down points what others are talking about, because mostly they collect those papers and they do check what you have written on that paper, and they want to make sure that you have listened, you have understood, you have absorbed some points. So note down the points what others speak, which is not under your list. In shorthand is sufficient. You don't have to write big essays, but note down points. All right. Then what else? Yes, this is something I have noticed for a lot of people, and not just pilots. Everywhere I have noticed this, but this is a personal suggestion. People from non-city areas where English is not a language commonly used, they know the language, they can speak it also, but they lose their confidence when they come in public. So I would suggest use English in your daily day-to-day activities. Try to speak English. I don't know how, you may not be able to speak to your neighbors, but when you're calling your friends, maybe you can speak in English. Please do that. Please mingle with others and try to speak in English, not just text in English. Speak it, and this will give you a lot of practice and confidence when it comes to appearing for a group discussion. Right. Now the last part, the interview. So far so good. If you have reached the interview, chances are they want to take you. Now you just have to prove to them that you're the right candidate. So I've already made a video on how to go for an interview. You can go ahead and check that also out. And regarding the study material, I would suggest the same books as for the written exam, the full ATPL theory and the Jepson J ATPL, my favorite, plus a few more things like important cars, like the all-weather operations, very important, and stuff about EDTO, RNP, PBN, LCN, ACN, all those things. Very important. You please go ahead and read up on that. Some things you may not be able to find in the DGCA syllabus, so I would suggest to you to collect old questions, go through those questions, because some things like green dot speed or alert height are not words which you come across commonly in black and white. So when you see such words which you haven't come across in books, please, what I normally used to do is go ahead, Google it. You will find some forums, some threads where people have discussed it in detail. Please go ahead and read through those forums and discussions. They are very good, very enlightening, but make sure that you don't understand concept in a wrong way, because it's a discussion. A lot of people have put in their points. So read through the whole discussion, and by the end you will get to know what it means and all that. So that's a very useful tool, and please use it lavishly. Also, YouTube is a very good tool. You can just go ahead and search for something, any concept you don't like. Most of them are there. Please go ahead and make full use of all the resources that are made available to you. Then yes, one is the Technical Pilot is a very good book, but there are some mistakes in the book, not just some, quite a few actually. So if your concepts are clear already, will you know if what is mentioned in the book is right or wrong. So that's why I said always go through the textbook first. ACE again is just an add-on. And another very important thing is Jepson manual. Please go ahead and study it. Your Jepson charts, your approach plates, your en route charts, your airport charts, all are very important. You need to be able to read those charts and understand what it is, symbols, numbers, definitions, all those are very important, right? So please go ahead and read the Jepson manual and understand what are the things. Then personally I find GSP a very good book to study instruments from. But again, all these books I am referring to are only add-ons. IC Joshi is again very good to study Indian climatology and your satellite charts and your weather phenomena, your weather, like your METAR and your all your weather briefings and all that stuff. Very good, IC Joshi. Rest meteorology, again I prefer personal Jepson J ATPF. And please go ahead and make sure that you are studying the latest regulations, because it's very important that you don't make mistakes because you're not updated yourself. That feels very bad. It happened to me once, but didn't matter. Cleared the exam anyways. But still, what happened to me was there was a question. If you are an ATPL holder and some 24 years of age, how frequently do you have to do your medicals? And the old regulation said ATPL means 6 months, right? So I marked those 6 months, but the new car had come out that it's only about 40 years. So like that, you don't want to make a mistake. Even though you studied the wrong thing. So I don't think, for me personally, that's not acceptable. Please do not let that happen to you. So stay updated and study the latest regulations. Performance is very important. Please study the performance related to jet aircraft. Single engine aircraft, you can forget about it. Not exactly forget about it, but in an interview, when somebody asks you a question, especially when the airline you're appearing for flies jet aircraft, then the question in mind, situation based, would be based on a jet aircraft. So they expect answers also like that, right? So that's why I said give more importance to jet aircraft. Not to say that forget the single engine or whatever aircraft you have flown. Just a couple of more things. Please give specific answers to questions asked. Answer the question asked. Do not beat around the bush, and please don't serve everything on the table at once. Whatever, like if they ask you something, just don't tell them everything related to it. Just answer correctly the question asked. And also remember that I do not know or I don't know is a very acceptable answer. Do not lose confidence if you're not able to answer a couple of questions. Nobody expects you to know all the answers. Alright guys, all the very best, and you've got this. Go get your job, and I'll see you in the sky. Thank you. And please go ahead and like this video, and put down your comments below. Ask any questions. I'll try to help you as much as possible, and that's it.